board is going to adjourn into closed session for a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, the Grace Foundation of Northern California versus Wells Fargo Bank et al. Case number 302-012-612-863-CU-RC-CJC, and the conference with labor negotiator Rick Haig. The board will convene as the Lassen County In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority for discussion with California United Home Care Workers, Local 4034, via telephone on labor negotiations. And the board will also receive a report on claims.
So when do we want to do the in-home supportive services? Is we have to? Yeah.
I would suggest we do that first. So we'll adjourn as the board and convene as the Lassen County In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority first.
In closed session.
In closed session.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll just do our closed session and we'll call you back in.
Okay.
Thank you. Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we pray this day for your ever-enduring guidance. We ask you to cloak us in wisdom and fortitude, that we may disperse our knowledge and facts intelligently among all humanity of whom we serve. Amen. Pretty good. Okay, first up will be the announcement of items discussed in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, the board convened in closed session as the Lassen County In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority for discussion with California United Home Care Workers, Local 4034, via telephone with labor negotiations. The board, there was no reportable action. The board then reconvened as the Board of Supervisors for a conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, the case being the Grace Foundation of Northern California versus Wells Fargo Bank et al., case number 302-012-612-863-CU-RC-CJC. There was no reportable action. The board also received a report on claims.
Thank you. Okay, agenda approval, additions and or deletions. I believe those are.
Mr. Chairman, I have two items that we've received requests to add two items as emergency items today. They are both, well, one of them is a letter of support in support of Senate Bill 1410, which is the payment in lieu of taxes, the state payment in lieu of taxes. The other is a requested letter opposing SB 1139, which is a bill that would change the requirements of the state's utilities to procure certain geothermal renewable power. This request comes from Mr. Hawley and Mr. Schaefer at Honey Lake Power. They came to my attention yesterday, and that's why they're being asked to be added to the agenda today. There are copies of the requested letters that have been handed out to you, and some down here for others too. That'll require a 4/5 vote if the board desires to add it to the agenda.
I would also ask that we adjourn the meeting today in memory of Junior Elsie.
Richard, you included this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so looking for a motion to add those to the agenda.
So, I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 We need to have 4/5.
Yeah. Any opposed?
Doesn't do
There's
it.
no
Do we have
opposed.
those?
No opposed. Okay.
Perhaps we could add those as H, could be 10 and 11, or, I'm sorry, 11 and 12.
All right, we will move down to public comment. I have two speaker cards. This is the portion of our meeting where you could comment on anything you'd like. If you're here about a specific agenda item, you'll have an opportunity again at that time to talk, but if you'd like to take the opportunity at this time, and also do so, I'll first call up the two cards I have. If you haven't filled out a card, but you still have something to say, you could just raise your hand after these first two. So first I have Joe Marie Miller.
Thanks, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you.
I'm Jo Marie Miller from Janesville. I had a call yesterday from Jean Hodge. They're in Flagstaff for their daughter's graduation. And both Jim and Jean asked me to read letters to you guys regarding the capital improvement plan workbook. Apparently they've talked to you about that before. Dear sirs, this is from Jean. We have discussed previously the capital improvement plan workbook tool, a guide or template to a successful capital improvement plan. I did not see it on the documents provided with the agenda for the May 13th meeting. I would like to see this type of framework used. Jeff Morris has mentioned the importance of departmental needs assessment, ADA compliance, and energy consumption as important criteria. Also, Mr. Hammond had previously requested a complete energy audit on all county properties over a one-year period. Thank you for your continued diligent work on a comprehensive CIP. Thank you, Jean Hodge. Okay, then the other one is to the Board of Lassen County Supervisors from Dr. Jim Hodge of Susanville. The subject is the capital improvement plan. Because of the agenda, I'm aware that you are discussing the capital improvement plan today, May 13th, 2014. I will not be able to attend and ask that this note be read into the record before the board and public on that day. A capital improvement plan needs to be a comprehensive master plan of projects, maintenance, grounds, buildings, etc. It should have a wish list for future needed projects that are not immediate. Consideration should be given to the overall big view of Lassen County, such as population shift, migration, and tax income changes or significant trends. There should be considerations to departmental needs, energy consumed or wasted, ADA compliance, and usage. A timeline should be assigned and priorities made. There may be considerable discussion as to how the priorities are chosen and weighted. A year-end review of that plan should be performed and adjust planning for the following year. I sincerely hope that you do not take an old maintenance list that does not include all the properties and does not reflect relative importance or has no timeline. The people of Lassen deserve better. In the listed documents for today, I do not see the complete list of Lassen County buildings and energy consumption audit that Supervisor Hammond asked for recently, nor do I see any reference to the 6-page capital improvement plan workbook that Jean Hodge submitted at a prior meeting and was discussed at length. Today, you are discussing spending $115,000 on a power backup plan for the courthouse square. Was that on the plan 6 or 9 months ago? How does such an expenditure manage to now pop up? Long-term career politicians will likely oppose a comprehensive plan because it requires some work. It shows transparency and puts in a system of accountability. It is easier to hide things from the public or lose control if there is no plan. County citizens want to stop waste, fraud, and abuse. They want to have easily accessed information. We have a lot of work to do in Lassen to achieve such a lofty goal. Please do not take on this master plan lightly. It is important to all citizens of Lassen County and will help give us all the assurance we are on the right track to have an action plan in Lassen County. Thank you for your time and consideration. I gave each of you a copy of these letters. Susan, did you need a copy?
I just need a copy of Jean's, because I have enough. Thank you.
There you go. Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to do is tonight at 6 o'clock is the tea party meeting at the Pizza Factory in Susanville in the back conference room. And the reason that I'm mentioning that is because Terry Raposa from Reading is coming to speak about the state of Jefferson. And we especially want to invite all of you board members and anybody in the room who wants to come and talk about that. So, because it will need to come before the board. So if you guys would please come, that would be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Dean Brown.
Yeah, good morning. All right, so I have a couple things I'd like to mention real fast. First is last Wednesday we had our open house. We've been doing it each year since I became sheriff. It's grown each year, and this year we had the best turnout we've had. It's a good opportunity to people come in and see what we do, learn about our office, and people are always surprised at what they learn there. So we had a good, successful open house. What I'm here about primarily today is the Citizens Academy we've been working on. We have a deputy who had some experience in Tulare County, and another law enforcement agency. And this is something we've been wanting to do, but we didn't have a good template, so he helped us put together this program. It's a free program for people in our county. Basically, we're going to teach them about all the operations of the sheriff's office. It's going to take some commitment by them if they want to learn about it, because it's going to start June 17th on that Tuesday, and it's going to run until August 19th, upon which time we'll have actually August 26th is when they'll actually graduate from the program. So it's 3 hours every Tuesday night during that time period. We're going to teach them about everything from patrol operations, dispatch, SWAT. We'll take them out. They'll get a little bit of time out on the range and doing defensive tactics. There's a couple of goals here. One is we're hoping our first priority is to get people who are interested in being volunteers for our department at some of our substations and outlying areas or at our main headquarters, just so they have a good, strong overview of our department and the services we provide, so they're more informed when they're answering questions of the public. Secondarily, just to get people more exposure to our department. So it took a big commitment. We have a number of people who volunteered to teach different blocks, courses of instruction during the program, but we're really looking forward to this. We are limiting the class size to 25 initially, and again, this is our pilot. We're hoping that we can get 25 people signed up to participate in it. So the other option too is we limited it to people above the age of 14, but that 14 to 18 age group, we're really focusing our people that are already explorers for Boy Scouts of America, our Explorer Post. They're going to get preference in that age group, but if there are people between like 18 and 21 who have an interest in law enforcement, it'd be a great opportunity for them to just come in and see if it's something they might have a real strong interest in pursuing. So, any questions about that?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to talk under public comment?
Eileen Spencer from Westwood. We have an author, a new author in Westwood, and she's having a book signing on June 14th at Margie's Bookstore here in Susanville, and she asked that I give you all invitations to the book signing. And the book, I've read it twice, is about Lassen County, Columbus County, and some of the history with great characters. And if you're interested, you can buy the book online now on Amazon, but it's really, there's five more issues coming. And but her book signing is going to be here, and then I think she has a book signing in Chester also, but she asked me to give you the invitations.
Thank you.
When is that again?
Anyone else?
14th of June. At Margie's. At Margie's.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Eric Ewing, Lassen County Emergency Services. Give you an update, a couple of things we have going on this week. Since summer's coming, things are eating up pretty quick. First off, Red Cross is going to be doing a sheltering exercise tomorrow at Jensen Hall. Basically, this is a full-scale exercise where they actually bring people in and exercise and practice in the evacuation center, essentially. This is in combination with the state's or Cal OES's annual statewide exercise. Each county has to participate in some way, shape, or fashion. This year, the scenario is a Cascadian earthquake, basically, and it's a large earthquake and tsunami type of event off the coast of the California-Oregon border. And so our scenario is, with water coming in from the coast, people are going to flee inland, and they might make it to Lassen County. We might have to put them up for a temporary shelter. So that's going to take place tomorrow morning at Jensen Hall. I'd like to thank Jim Wilcott and his staff on accommodating us, working through the kinks of this. But hopefully it will go off just fine. The next thing we have going on is Lassen County Wildland Field Day is going to take place this Saturday at Sierra Army Depot. And this is actually a wildland scenario that we do every year with our local government, volunteer fire agencies, CAL Fire Force, and BLM. And this year the base is all going to be together for a one-day full-scale training exercise on the base where we're going to practice everything from helicopter operations, dozer safety, handline construction, mobile attack, and even a little bit of fire investigation. The benefit of this is for the volunteers and those that don't get to do this stuff on a daily basis. This is about the 16th annual one we've done. This is the first one that we're going to do out on the base in cooperation with them. And if the weather is cooperative, which I think it's going to be, we might even have live fire equipment. We've got a 40-acre plot that they donated to us for that use. So that will be, again, Saturday, all day Saturday, we'll be out there doing that. So if you see smoke out on the base, don't worry about it, it's just us. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to talk under the comment? Alrighty, we'll move on to unagenda reports. Start off with you, Supervisor Shetland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things. Since our last meeting, a couple Fridays ago, let me pass these down to you, was the third grade history day, so we had the opportunity to once again perform the Isaac group presentation there in front of the courthouse. And what was kind of unique and significant for the third graders that day, which we haven't done in the past 19 years that we've been doing this program, because it was the 150th anniversary of the first election held in Lassen County, we created this kind of a mock commemorative ballot, and each of the third graders, we had 284 third graders signed up. I'm not sure if all of them came through, but we basically made up two sets of ballots, one that they actually cast. Julie Bustamante, our county clerk recorder, she sat out on the front deck area there in front of the courthouse, and she actually collected the ballots and gave the kids a "I voted" sticker. And so we talked about the election process, and they got to vote for these were the original office holders that were elected in the election of the 2nd of 1864. So it was a good day, it was a hot day, and close to 300 third graders, after they toured all the uptown stations, there's about 7 stations they visit in the morning hours, starting from 9 till about noon. Then they have lunch and wind up down at Memorial Park for an hour or two and have a bunch of stations down there, so it's kind of learning the linear history. And we've had in the past, actually, Big Valley's come down and participated too. I don't believe they were there this year. One of the questions on the ballot was, in the original election, was a contest between Susanville and Janesville for the county seat. And 150 years ago, Susanville prevailed by 2 votes. And so the kids got to vote on that question. And Julie tallied the votes, and according to her tally, Susanville had 167 votes to Janesville 35 votes. So obviously there's been a change in the last 150 years, but it was kind of interesting seeing the kids, and I think the parents that, go along and participate with the program, I think get as much, if not more, out of it than even the kids do. But they all got to take home one of their commemorative ballots. The other thing is, as a result of that election, it was yesterday, 150 years ago, that those first officers that were elected were sworn into office, and Judge Harvey presided in the historic courtroom and did a very nice little program. And each of the office holders that were elected back 150 years ago, standing in for them, were the current office holders in those various offices. And I want to thank the chairman for his attendance and participation. And it was a short little 15-minute program, but it was a way of commemorating, stepping back in history and marking the events. The next big observance for the 150th anniversary comes up on June 10th, when our board meeting held that day happens to coincide with the 150th anniversary of the first meeting of the Board of Supervisors. So you will have an opportunity to participate in that particular event. So hopefully we can do it as well as they did 150 years ago. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron?
Yeah, I got several things. The first is that after we had our board meeting up there in Beaver, there was a lot of people that were very appreciative and thankful, and they really enjoyed having the board up there. They just appreciate seeing everybody up there. After that meeting, I went to Sacramento and attended the RCRC meeting down there. The majority, there was some discussion on the PILT, which we'll be talking about, with the payment of the taxes for the wildlife. But the biggest one, probably the biggest discussion they had on was the water bond, what's coming up, what's going to be in it. They had a very good speaker there, a lawyer, give all the history about the Bay Delta, the water issues, and the future, etc. He did a very good job, and that's where the majority of our discussion was spent there. I didn't go to the Quad County meetings. I went to the science fair down in Los Angeles. My son represented Lassen County. He was one of 4 or 5 kids from Big Valley that went. And Tom, you also had a student from your district that went.
Yeah.
Angel, I forget his last name, from Juniper Ridge. He had a very good project, and he went down there as well. We were far and away the farthest of representing California. And to go down there and see some of the project that those kids come up with, and I mean, you go through this book here, it kind of shows the project titles. I mean, some of these titles, I can't even pronounce the words to. I mean, it was a very good nerd fest. You can look at that. Put your hand out to the wall. So anyway, and then I brought this up a couple, 3 weeks ago. And nobody's done anything with it, so I'll go ahead and I'll be the bad guy. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. And that is Bullseye. I'd like to put Bullseye on the agenda to revoke their special use permit for recycling. It was a very contentious deal. Well, the first time it wasn't contentious when I went through, but then it was built by planning commission to come before the board of supervisors. It was reinstated to not to do any vehicle licensing, any vehicle recycling. Since then, they've advertised on the radio to bring your vehicle in and get recycled. I mean, maybe nobody else cares that there's an illegal business activity going on in Lassen County, but I do. And I'll be the one to bring it up. I don't care. And then the other thing that I would like to have agendized is to get Mr. Pizzullo or Mr. Smith or Mr. Hayes, or a combination thereof, to come in and give us an update on their proposal that they had when they bought the last dirt on property, on their proposal to the wounded veterans as well as construction, just to kind of give us an update, because we got another proposal coming up, and just to get an update on where they're at with theirs, to see how that stuff's progressing. Just an idea. And I think that's about it.
Do you have any specific dates you'd like to have for those 2 items? Or you want to leave it up to me?
The sooner the better. I mean, because both these are, I mean, we don't need to have illegal business operations running around the county, I don't think. So the quicker the better for that. And then also depending on this RFP thing goes, I mean, I'd like to have them in before we finalize our RFP for the other for long.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
since our last meeting, I went and toured the Honey Lake Power Plant, which was an interesting experience to say the least. They're very concerned about their fuel coming in, and that's why I also support that letter that we're gonna send to the state. I think they're gonna run into a crisis with their fuel being replenished there, and I think they see the handwriting on the wall. That organization employs 25 people. I think we should fully support them. They're also they're starting a partnership with Elmud for a 5-megawatt solar project on their grounds. And also right next door is a 7-megawatt fuel cell that's being proposed. And I don't know if that's hit the planning department yet or not, but, no, okay. But that's in the works. And I think we have an opportunity here to explore some of our geothermal and green energy. And I certainly don't want any kind of energy element stuff getting in the way of that. So I think we really need to be aware of it. We have a pretty good steam field out there that's not being utilized right now. So that's what I have to report. Hopefully we'll head in the right direction on that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Richard and I sat in on a conference call with NorCal EMS, and the discussion is raising money to pay back money to the CDPH, California Department of Public Health. And that will be an agenda item, will be next week.
Yes, that's the plan.
That is, do you want to contact Dan? Be sure he can be here too. And I would also contact all the agencies, ambulance agencies, and what would be involved in. And it'll be probably what we're talking about a dues increase to all the counties and all the providers of a small amount. But anyhow, we're getting that in detail next Tuesday. And later I had a budget meeting yesterday afternoon with staff. The budget's moving right along. So we'll have more on that later as we continue.
Thank you, thanks. I attended the pool meeting with Supervisor Chapman a few days ago, or last week.
Last Tuesday.
Time flies.
Last Tuesday.
So anyhow, moving along, I think that was our 10th meeting. One of the main issues happening right now is just the negotiations on securing the site. It's
Created a lively discussion amongst the school districts.
yeah. So
That's an understatement.
hopefully things stay on track, you know. I wish it was going a little smoother, but to be honest, it's a little shaky. We'll see what happens.
You know, the important thing to note, and I think if I could add to that there is, you know, the pool board is not interested in getting in between the school districts over who's got what. And if that isn't resolved by the end of June, we've got several other sites that were considered that are available, and we're not interested in having the project be held up, you know, waiting or pending, then sorting out whatever differences they have concerning the preferred site. So, the important thing I think for the community to appreciate, but more for the board's benefit, is by the end of June, you know, that as far as the pool board is concerned, and the site that was the primary site prior to the Credence Washington School site being selected was the county-owned property there behind Roosevelt School, between the whole school and existing pool facilities. So, very likely we may be very well back talking to the board about the transfer of that property for that purpose. And there's 2 or 3 other properties that are also high on the list. So whatever works out, we're going to be proceeding irrespective of what happens with them. And hopefully the school districts can resolve the issues amongst themselves. But we're not interested in being a part of their issues and their problems.
So anyhow, yeah, we continue to press forward. Yeah.
It's interesting kind of what you learn as you go along.
The also, on the budget meeting yesterday, I think we're making good progress on the juvenile hall budget, and with Jennifer's diligence, I think she's found a considerable amount of savings. She's been working with Richard, so committee will be bringing that to the full board, but it's definitely going in the right direction. So that's positive. And yeah, I really enjoyed, and I want to thank you for your efforts with the 150-year deal. It was nice, and it was really good. Dean was, see you in your current uniform today, but that one yesterday was pretty awesome.
He was dressed to the nines in his old pistols too.
Yeah, it was really good. Thanks to you, and there's a few others that came. Dress was nice, and yeah, that's all I have. So, okay, so let's move on to our proclamation. Ms. Reddy.
You better get down there, Retta. Don't be shy.
Good to win.
Hi, Red.
Hi.
Okay, well, let me read this first, and then
At least one.
all righty, I'm honored to be able to do this. It's one of the nice things about being the chairman, is that to have the opportunity and the honor to do this stuff, and I wasn't aware at the time I kept raising my hand for the job. Anyway, it's pretty good. Okay.
Don't worry, she's not gonna bite there, you can step in
Yeah,
closer.